My girlfriend is deep into her grad studies and always complains that her research is draining her. She barely sees me, maybe once every couple of weeks, and she's only intimate with me every few months. I get it, though. I'm putting in extra hours to help fund her PhD journey. That was until one day, while I was away on a work trip, I stumbled upon a video she posted in our car club group. The video was titled, "A Girl Who Loves Playing with Contrasts, Big Desires." I couldn't believe my eyes. In it, she was asking the guys to blur her face, but they were filming her from above. The clip was just 20 seconds long. Seeing her flushed face left me completely shocked. I couldn't fathom it was real, yet something inside me had to accept it. On our usual nightstand was a photo of us. My face was hidden by the angle, but it was clear she was cheating in the house I'd bought for us, on the bed meant for our marriage. As soon as the reality hit me, I grabbed the video and saved all the info from the car club group. Just as I finished, the video got pulled down. In the days that followed, I was in a daze until my business trip wrapped up. This time, I didn't give her a heads up that I was coming back. Once back in town, I headed straight to our home and found the hidden cameras I'd installed in the bedroom. I'd thought the workers might cut corners during renovations, so I set up a few cameras. Ironically, the workers were straight up, but my girlfriend wasn't. The cameras I had bought only recorded when they were on, but it was enough. For about 40 minutes, the woman who usually acted tired and distant around me was full of energy, trying all sorts of things. She laughed at the men, saying, "You're the first guy here. Can't satisfy your cravings alone." Then she taunted, "Your husband is watching you in the photo. Isn't that more thrilling? I don't love him at all, but his family has money and he's willing to spend it on me. So I keep him around. You're the only one I love." My rage flared up immediately. She never loved me. I was just part of her game, a prop for her excitement. I don't even know how many times she cheated on me. At the end of the video, she said, "Teacher, let's take a break and continue later," which left me seething. I didn't know much about her social life since I was always busy traveling and working overtime to make money. She seemed even busier, always rushing when I tried to schedule a date. She kept saying she wanted to produce more research, get her PhD, and earn more to support us in the future. I believed her, felt guilty for not working hard enough, thinking I was the one causing her stress. I didn't realize she didn't love me at all and was only with me because I could spend money on her. I was just a tool for her, kept around when she needed me and tossed aside otherwise. I sat in our room, staring blankly at everything because she didn't want a second-hand house. I bought a new one outright because she hated the developer's style, paid for a full renovation for her sense of security, and even added her name to the deed because I loved her. I agreed to all her demands one by one, not expecting that she'd bring other men into our home, the very place I'd worked so hard to make happy. Suddenly, everything in the house disgusted me. I grabbed our photo and shouted at her in the picture. "Ella, why are you doing this to me? Why?" The more I yelled, the crazier I got, thoughts of hurting her flashing through my mind. Seeing her cold face in the photo and remembering her in the video only fueled my anger. I wanted to tear her apart until I threw the photo down and stormed out of the room. The chilly night air outside cleared my mind. There's no need to end up behind bars for someone like her. I wanted revenge, not murder. I grabbed a screenshot of the guy's face accidentally shown in the video and searched for him on our school's official site. After a few hours, I found out his name was Alex Lee, a teacher and a member of the school's basketball team. There was a group photo from an award ceremony that included him and my girlfriend. Apparently, she wasn't just focused on her research. Without that photo, I wouldn't have known she could play basketball. I took Alex's award photo and posted it on the school forum, writing, "Wow, this teacher is so handsome. Can anyone tell me which faculty he's from?" Within half a day, I discovered his name was Alex Lee, a foreign languages teacher, single. Many comments on my post warned, "Dating him is a disaster. You'll get hurt." As more comments came in, I learned Alex was a big deal at the school. Great at basketball, leading the team to victories, and many female students were into him. This jerk was pretending to be a respectable teacher, but was actually hooking up with anyone he could, using the guise of love to mess with female students. I created a new account, posing as a female student he had deceived, and accused him of secretly filming videos. The post blew up with tons of comments and gossip. Other victims started coming forward, accusing Alex of being a master manipulator, juggling multiple girlfriends, and denying everything after using them. Some even turned the posts into videos and shared them on social media. The online backlash was intense, and Alex's personal info got exposed. He nearly lost it when he found out. Alex messaged my account privately. "Who the hell are you? What do you want? I'll sue you for defamation." I laughed and replied, "You're the one who likes playing with contrasts. You trash, Ella, is that you? Did you see it? Where did you see it? You bastard, I told you to blur my face and you didn't. You scum." After berating him, I deleted the account. With everyone already talking, I didn't need to push it further. "Alex, you want to sue me? I'll let you and that cheating girlfriend of mine tear each other apart first." The next day, I called Ella, telling her I was back and missed her, asking her out to dinner. She sounded annoyed, brushing me off, saying she was too busy and exhausted. I figured Alex must have caused her some trouble, but it only made me more determined to see her. To get her attention, I had to use my ace. "Hey, babe, my dad said the demolition compensation from our hometown came through. He wants to discuss how to spend it." This worked like a charm. Ella's tone lit up, saying the compensation finally came and suggesting we celebrate at a pricey restaurant. That woman was ruthless. Dinner there cost over $3 grand per person. The compensation was real. My parents had bought land in our hometown's capital years ago to build a factory. As the city expanded, the suburban factory was included in a demolition and relocation plan. But the compensation was delayed until now, totaling $34 million. Ella knew about this, having indirectly asked me about it several times. She probably agreed to marry me for the money. That evening, I met Ella. Normally, she was barely made up and dressed simply, but this time she was fully made up and dressed carefully. She looked more beautiful than ever, but all I felt was disgust. I noticed a faint bruise on her cheekbone. Alex had hit her, pretending to be all enthusiastic. I rushed over and squeezed her cheeks hard with both hands. "Baby, I missed you so much. You're so beautiful." She winced in pain and quickly pulled my hands away. "Oh, you're messing up my makeup." "How could I mess up your makeup?" I pinched her face a few more times on purpose. She hissed in pain, and I felt a dark satisfaction. While the bruises could be covered with makeup, the pain couldn't be hidden. I guessed Ella had been slapped at least twice by Alex. "How much was the demolition compensation? How much is your dad giving you?" Ella got straight to the point. "My dad didn't tell me the exact amount, but they said everything would be to your satisfaction. You know how much my parents love you as their son's wife. You have to satisfy them, or they won't feel comfortable letting me marry you. And don't forget my sister. Don't worry. I'll make sure your whole family is happy. Go back and discuss with them, see what they want." I patted my chest, making grand promises. Hubby is the best. I stared at Ella's delicate face, growing angrier the longer I looked. But I kept flattering her. "Baby, didn't you say you wanted to start your own business? Now I have the money to support you. Starting a business is expensive. You have to be prepared for that." "Don't be cheap. I can't believe you said that. All these years, have I ever been cheap with you?" I put on a hurt expression. All right, my bad. Don't go back to your dorm tonight. I'll reward you." She smiled sweetly, trying to calm me. Damn, disgusting. I didn't want to touch her at all, pretending to regret. "Really, but I got a message from my boss. I have to work overtime tonight." "You're working so hard. Why not just quit? I still want to buy you bags with my salary." "Okay then, finish dinner and head back to the office early." She didn't try to persuade me to stay. "When you get paid, remember to take me shopping." "Bitch, even now you're thinking about my money." I forced a smile, continuing to promise her the moon. "Don't worry, you can spend my whole paycheck this month." As soon as I got back, Ella sent me a list. Her dad wanted a Mercedes SUV, her mom wanted jade jewelry, and her sister wanted branded bags. She also pushed to marry me ASAP and asked how much dowry I could give. Damn it. Without the dowry, the things they wanted would cost at least $1 million. This family really thought I was a sucker. While handling her demands, I reported Alex. By then, Alex's issues had blown up from the school forum to all social media. Netizens escalated from criticizing Alex's morals to condemning the whole school. I gathered all the online reports about Alex, organized the victims' timelines and evidence, and made a detailed chart. I sent a copy to the school's email and posted another online. Additionally, I summarized the school's various issues and sent them to the Education Bureau. I got a new number and called the mayor's hotline to complain about the university's improper teaching practices, allowing teachers to deceive and secretly film female students and spreading videos. I also mentioned that detailed info was sent to the Education Bureau's email. Soon, both the mayor's hotline and the Education Bureau responded, saying they'd investigate thoroughly. With online public opinion raging and offline reports, Alex was suspended. I had someone keep an eye on him. When I got the news, I quickly took a cab to the school. Perfect timing. I saw him leaving the campus. As Alex was driving out, the person I arranged blocked him. A young guy posing as a college student biked straight into Alex's car. In a bad mood, Alex got out and yelled, "Are you blind? Can you afford to pay for hitting my car?" The hot-headed young man didn't back down, and they started yelling at each other. As more students gathered, I hid in the back and shouted, "Isn't this the teacher who sleeps with students? So arrogant." The students immediately got riled up. "Holy crap, it's him, this scumbag. Wasn't he supposed to be suspended?" The young guy took the chance to shout, "Yes, it's him. He slept with my classmate and won't admit it. Now he wants to run." With a leader, the crowd of students went wild, all criticizing and cursing Alex, who still yelled defiantly. Someone shouted, "Beat him up!" and the young guy rushed forward. Alex, being tall, punched the young man in the chest, sending him to the ground, screaming, "The pervert teacher hit me!" The students were furious and swarmed. University students, full of energy, didn't hold back. Alex, strong and athletic, fought back a bit at first but was soon kicked in the knees, collapsing to the ground. Before long, he was beaten black and blue, unable to stop himself from begging loudly, "Students, I was wrong. Please stop hitting me." I, wearing a mask, ran up and kicked him in the face, silencing him. "Damn it, that's for sleeping in my bed." Campus security hurried over, fearing things might escalate, and shouted, "We've called the police. Stop hitting him." The students and I dispersed, leaving Alex lying on the ground, groaning. He curled up with his hands over his head, looking utterly pathetic. The security guards helped him up and asked if he wanted to call the police. Alex shook his head painfully and struggled back to his car. He wouldn't dare call the cops with his dirty secrets exposed. That night, I got a message from Ella saying her parents wanted to come over and discuss our wedding. They wanted to lock me down early. "Don't worry, I'll make sure Uncle and Auntie are happy with our marriage plans." But my parents were traveling abroad and couldn't meet them in person. They were on vacation, having worked hard all their lives and deserved to relax. "It's okay. My parents said they'd come to Beijing first to see you." All right, I agreed right away. I was heading out on a business trip the next day and would be back the day after. "Settle Uncle and Auntie in first, and I'll entertain them properly when I return." After sending the message, I felt a mix of emotions. Ella and I didn't attend the same school. We met during a cross-school event in my freshman year. Back then, Ella was stunning, cold, and impressive. A high-profile figure who caught many boys' attention. I fell for her instantly and tried various ways to win her over for 3 years. But she always stayed indifferent. Before graduation on Ella's birthday, I decided to seize the last chance and planned an elaborate confession ceremony. My parents had always supported my feelings, especially since Ella had an academic vibe. They helped me book a manor in the suburbs and invited friends from both sides. I even spent tens of thousands to rent a helicopter, bringing a bouquet and a diamond necklace from the sky, walking towards Ella with deep affection. In her shocked and amazed gaze, I knelt on one knee and sincerely confessed my love. I had prepared for rejection, thinking if it didn't work out, this ceremony would be my farewell to youth. Unexpectedly, she agreed. Amid the cheers of our friends, I personally put the diamond necklace on her. For the first time, she gave me a shy smile and hugged me. Actually, I've had a good impression of you for a long time. At that moment, I felt like the happiest person alive. Looking back now, I was really naive. If she truly liked me, how could she remain indifferent for 3 years? She agreed only when I spent money. If I hadn't flaunted my wealth on that birthday, why? She wouldn't have become my girlfriend. I was too young to see through her true nature, a gold digger. After college, she got into a graduate program in Beijing. For her, I gave up returning to my family business and found a job in Beijing. It was then I took her home to meet my parents. Being their only son, my parents doted on me and never opposed me dating. Seeing Ella, who was beautiful, well-mannered, and highly educated, they were thrilled. Ella then took me to her hometown, a small county in the north. Her parents were very pleased when they saw the carload of gifts I brought. Later, our parents met, and we got engaged. All her graduate school expenses naturally fell on me and my parents, who loved their son. With our good financial situation and Ella's ability to act obediently in front of them, they spared no expense for my future. Otherwise, how could I afford to buy a house in Beijing with my salary alone? Unfortunately, I let my parents down. The daughter-in-law I found for them turned out to be a harmful fraud. Looking back, there were signs all along. I was just blinded by love, thinking about it. I felt increasing hatred. Ella, you could have rejected me, but I will never forgive you for using and deceiving me like this. To continue my revenge plan, I patiently entertained her family. I didn't buy anything on Ella's list, using the excuse that there wasn't enough time and that we'd include everything with the dowry at the wedding. She probably didn't want to push me too hard either, so she didn't say much. After 2 glasses of premium wine, Ella's dad got tipsy and said, "Jorge, we're very happy you're planning to marry Ella. She's been cherished all her life, never had to suffer. She's also very ambitious, a grad student from a top university. Marrying her means your future kids can also go to prestigious schools." I nodded repeatedly, hinting at my agreement. Ella is indeed smart and ambitious. You wouldn't think she's so capable just by looking at her. Let me toast to you again. Her mom then said, "Without meeting your parents, I don't know what your family thinks. Although things are modern now, the dowry is still important. Jorge, can you make the decision?" "Auntie, no problem. My parents said the family money will be mine sooner or later. Such a big event as marriage, I can decide as I please." Taking advantage of the alcohol, I prepared to paint a grand picture. Her mom continued, "Ella is so beautiful and excellent. She'll be a doctoral student from a top university in the future. She's not an average daughter-in-law, don't you think? Her dad and I have raised her with great care for so many years. It's really hard to let go of her suddenly. Do you understand?" "Auntie, say no more. I understand very well. My family is prepared to offer a dowry of 1 million. "Auntie, what do you think?" The dinner table went silent, with Ella's family staring at me. Her dad was so excited he spilled his wine. How? How much? Both her parents were just regular workers. Ella had once said their lifetime savings were only about 300,000. 1 million was astronomical to them. 1 million dowry. "Uncle, this should surely give you face back home." "Right," I said firmly. Her dad's eyes widened instantly. Definitely. Ella obviously didn't expect me to be so generous. Her eyes glowed as she grabbed my hand. "Honey, are you sure you're not drunk? Will your parents agree to this much money?" I subtly avoided her closeness and waved grandly. "Don't worry, my parents' money is my money. I chased you for so many years to make you happy. My parents bought an 8 million house. They won't care about this dowry." Ella's face lit up with joy. "I knew you were a man with potential. Honey, you're the best." "Dad, Mom, did I choose the right person?" Yes. Her parents nodded quickly. They knew from the first sight that Jorge was a good guy, reliable. "Brother-in-law, where's my bag?" Her sister chimed in. "Don't worry, your brother-in-law will buy it for you. I'll take you to choose one later. Agreeing doesn't cost anything." "Thank you, brother-in-law." her sister said sweetly, looking at the happy family. I sneered inwardly. I'm putting you on a pedestal now, but will you still be able to laugh when I bring you crashing down? You're not young anymore. Look at your sister. You should find a capable husband like your brother-in-law. I heard her parents whisper to her sister. Her sister glanced at Ella with blatant jealousy. Ella leaned in and whispered in my ear, Honey, let's sleep in the wedding house tonight. Seeing her flushed face, I suddenly felt disgusted, not wanting to refuse directly. I smiled and agreed. Later, I deliberately challenged her dad to a drinking contest until we both puked. Under her mom's direction, Ella came to help me. But as I expected, she threw me into the hotel room with a look of disgust and left. I was jolted awake by a call from the hotel phone. Groggy, I picked up, and Ella's crisp voice came through. Brother-in-law, are you up yet? When are you taking me to buy the bag? I woke up completely and had an idea. Wait a moment, I'll wash up and then take you. Okay, I'll come over to your room shortly. There was a knock on my door. As soon as I opened it, Sandra, with an innocent face, threw herself into my arms. Brother-in-law? She was dressed up today, wearing a tight, short camisole dress that highlighted her curves and made her long, snow-white legs stand out. Before I could push her away, she linked her arm through mine with a naive look. Brother-in-law, did you just wake up? Should I get you some breakfast, or should we eat together later? I knew exactly why she was being so attentive. This Sioux family really breeds bad seeds. Each daughter was more shameless and money-minded than the other. Sandra, 3 years younger than Ella, was also very pretty, but not as academically inclined. She graduated from a vocational school and worked as a cashier back in their hometown. But when it came to sweet-talking, she was way ahead of Ella. As I was washing up, she kept chatting beside me. Brother-in-law, it's so annoying. Last night, my parents kept comparing me to my sister. I just broke up, and you and my sister are getting married, and you have so much money. How will I ever find a boyfriend? Brother-in-law, can you introduce me to someone? I may not be as educated, but I think I'm prettier than my sister. Hearing her ask that, I turned around and said, You're much more lively than your sister, bright and cute. Sandra giggled coquettishly, exuding youthful energy and vitality. When did your sister leave? I asked knowingly. She left after bringing you to the hotel. Brother-in-law, you're heavy. It took a lot to get you into bed. Then I should thank you. I intentionally patted her head and posted a message on my moments. Thanks to little sister Ava for taking care of me. Taking her to buy a bag now. I took her to SKP. Once in the mall, Sandra's eyes lit up, and she started taking photos in front of luxury stores with her phone. Noticing people staring at her, she quickly ran back to me, linking her arm through mine and pressing her body close. I must admit, walking around with a little beauty does feel good. Sandra enthusiastically browsed through the stores while I checked my phone and saw that Ella had responded to my post. Where are you guys? She couldn't contain herself. I smiled and ignored her, refreshing again. I saw Sandra had posted a collage of 9 photos with the caption, Shopping with the best brother-in-law in the world. He's more charming than the bags, adding a string of little hearts at the end. The photos included store shots, selfies, and a picture of her linking arms with me. With the location tagged, Sandra was quick. In such a short time, she had taken so many photos, a true ally. Before long, Ella called, What are you doing with my sister? What else, buying her a bag? Are you buying her a bag right now? Did your dad's money come through? No, but I still have my salary, I responded, and Ella was begging. Since you have to buy it eventually, might as well take her shopping now. You promised your salary would buy me a bag. Ella's voice suddenly turned sharp. How can you spend that money on her? Didn't you tell me not to forget your sister? I enjoyed seeing her angry. I've already bought you so many bags. Can't you let Ava have this one? This completely enraged Ella, who began screaming hysterically. Why should I let her? Jorge, you're putting her before me. Are you into her now? Come back right now. Before I could respond, Sandra suddenly snatched the phone from me, speaking softly, "Brother-in-law, let me explain to my sister." I was happy to watch the drama unfold and didn't stop her. Sure enough, Sandra began her manipulative talk. "Sister, why do you always get mad at brother-in-law for no reason? He works so hard all the time. We'll be a family soon. And if you don't care about brother-in-law, She shyly glanced at me. "Dad and Mom care about him." Ella was clearly furious. "Sandra, do you have no shame? Do you want everything I have?" "Just wait," Sandra sweetly replied. "Sister, don't be so angry. Anger makes you age faster. Don't worry, I'll take good care of brother-in-law for you." After saying that, Sandra hung up the phone, ignoring Ella's furious shouts. The drama between these two sisters was quite a show. "Brother-in-law, don't be angry. My sister has a temper like a dog. She's been like this since we were kids, quick to turn on you. Mom always says she's got a dog's face." Sandra grabbed my hand. "Brother-in-law, don't be mad. Let me buy you coffee to cool down." In the coffee shop, I sat shoulder to shoulder with Sandra. "We're going to be family soon. Shouldn't I be nicer to you?" I asked, feigning confusion. "Does your sister really need to get so angry?" This tactic worked perfectly. Sandra fumed. "My sister has never liked me, brother-in-law. It's not my place to say, but you've spoiled her too much." I agreed with her. I used to love Ella so much that I lost myself, giving her the opportunity to humiliate me like that. Now, I'm going to make her pay back tenfold, 100-fold. I stared at Sandra's face for a long time until her cheeks turned red. Then she sighed. "If only your sister were half as understanding as you." My sister has high aspirations and a strong career drive. Unlike me, I just want to find a good husband and live a happy life. I bowed my head thoughtfully and sighed softly. What a pity. But your sister has been with me for so many years. Sigh. Brother-in-law, Sandra leaned in gently. Actually, you don't have to be so responsible towards my sister. Maybe there's a better choice. Before she could finish, she screamed as someone yanked her by the hair and pulled her aside. Ella had arrived. With 2 sharp slaps, Ella struck her twice. "How dare you hit me?" Sandra screamed, clawing at Ella's face wildly. Unfortunately, she didn't have the height advantage and could only bite down hard on Ella's shoulder. The 2 sisters started fighting fiercely. I watched from the side, gasping. These sisters were ruthless, using deadly moves. Sandra finally broke free from her sister's hold and kicked Ella hard in the stomach. Ella doubled over in pain, giving Sandra the chance to grab her hair and throw her to the ground. She then straddled her sister and slapped her face repeatedly. I made a half-hearted attempt to intervene, noticing people around taking out their phones to record. I quickly put on a mask and left the coffee shop. I didn't want to end up on trending searches with these lunatics. Standing outside, I watched them fight like cats and dogs, quietly took out my phone, and deleted my WeChat Moments post with the coffee shop location. Then I took a cab back to the hotel. Back at the hotel, I received a call from Ella demanding, "Why did you leave on your own?" I couldn't be bothered with her. "Why do you think?" she snapped. "Because you embarrassed me." With that, I hung up and ignored her. Not long after, I heard her and her sister yelling at each other in the hallway, along with her parents' scolding voices. The real show was about to start. There was a loud knock on my door, followed by my future father-in-law's voice, "Jorge, come out here." I opened the door, and the entire family barged in. Her father, seething with anger, asked, "Jorge, what's going on?" I responded, equally furious, "See for yourself." I showed him the trending local video of Ella and Sandra fighting. The video showed Ella cursing, calling me a shameless bitch, and saying she'd been taking my stuff since childhood while hitting Sandra. I pointed at Ella and yelled, "She was like a madwoman today. I was just taking her sister shopping and she came over, hitting and cursing. She might not care about face, but I do. I can't afford this embarrassment. We agreed that your salary would be for my bag. And why were you so close to Sandra?" Ella retorted angrily, "What are you implying? I'm taking care of her." "Are you suggesting I'm taking advantage of her? She's your sister, still a kid. Yeah. We're going to be family soon. Do we need to keep a distance of several meters when walking together? Am I supposed to go crazy with you every day? Sandra chimed in. If you're going to be paranoid all the time, how can we live after getting married? Am I supposed to go crazy with you every day? I played along, turning to leave. This wedding is off. I'll call my dad to cancel the million. Transfer. I picked up the phone. Hearing this, all four of them panicked. Jorge, don't be rash. My future mother-in-law quickly tried to stop me. You too. Help me calm Jorge down. Sandra rushed over and grabbed my hand. Brother-in-law, don't. Her father also chimed in. Let's talk it out. We're all family. Arguments are normal. Don't be hasty. I had never lost my temper with Ella before, so she was utterly confused. Staring at me in disbelief, I pointed at Ella and said to her parents, Look at your wonderful daughter, acting like nothing happened. Men need to keep their dignity. Besides, who I marry makes no difference. Her education doesn't mean squat if she can't even talk decently. Unlike Ava, Sandra's eyes lit up, and Ella finally grasped the situation, hurriedly pushing her parents and sister out the door. You all go out first. We'll handle our own issues. Outside, Sandra called out, Jorge, her parents said loudly. Talk it over well. We're all going to be family. Once they were gone, Ella, crying, came over to me. Honey, what's wrong? What's wrong? I woke up. Ella, do you think I have no choice but to marry you? I said coldly. I, Jorge, have a car, a house, and savings. I won't lack for women. This remark completely sobered Ella. She clung to me. I'm sorry, honey. I was wrong. I shouldn't have embarrassed you. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Ella cried pitifully, her tears streaming down her face. But these tears weren't for me. They were for my money. Crocodile tears wouldn't soften my heart anymore. This wasn't just about embarrassment. Last night, when I was drunk, as my future wife, you didn't take care of me. Eva did. I thought I'd buy a bag to thank your sister out of respect for you, and you pick a fight. I accused her sternly. Ella had lost all her previous arrogance. She clung to my leg, begging, It's all my fault, honey. I swear, I won't do it again. I'll take good care of you and never doubt you again. Please, honey. We've been together for so long. Can you bear to leave me? Honey, I'm just scared of losing you, she cried. Ever since I knew about your family's demolition compensation, I've had nightmares of you finding another woman. I was so scared of losing you that I lost my mind. I might have wedding anxiety. I feel so insecure. Now, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me, honey. Afraid of losing her cash cow, Ella played the emotion card, crying about her supposed true feelings for me. But unfortunately, she never loved me. Her so-called true feelings were just lies. I cursed inwardly, but outwardly I felt it was enough. Breaking things off completely wouldn't work, as I still had a big surprise for them. The video of your fight spread quickly. My dad messaged me on WeChat saying you've let them down. Despite your high education, your behavior is disgraceful and will bring shame to our family. I can forgive you, but your family needs to sincerely apologize and satisfy my parents. Otherwise, you won't be accepted into our family. Seeing a way out, Ella eagerly nodded. Don't worry, honey. I'll make sure your parents are satisfied. The Sue family really went all out this time. Ella convinced her parents to buy first-class round-trip tickets from Beijing for my parents, book them a suite in a 5-star hotel in the city center, and arrange meals in a private room at a high-end restaurant. Ella even hired a business car, with her father acting as the driver, to pick my parents up from the airport and take them to the hotel and then to the banquet hall. At this banquet, Ella didn't let her sister come, probably to avoid any unexpected incidents. Her father drank 3 cups as self-punishment, apologizing for not disciplining his daughter properly. Her mother played the sympathy card, talking about their difficult life and lack of time to educate their daughter. Ella went all out, apologizing and lamenting, using our years of relationship as leverage. Their whole family took turns presenting a sincere and humble attitude. Her father got emotional, insisting on kneeling with the whole family in front of my parents, claiming, "We won't get up until you forgive us." Seeing the timing was right, I spoke a few good words for Ella. We had already discussed it as a family, so my dad laid out the conditions for the marriage. The dowry wouldn't be reduced by a penny. However, our family wouldn't organize the wedding in Beijing. The Su family would pay for it. Additionally, they needed to provide a dowry of 200,000. This money would be returned to them later, but they needed to make a show of it to reassure them. My dad handed me a card with 500,000 on it. "Once everything is done, this card will be yours." Ella's family eagerly agreed. As long as they could secure me, the current expense was worth it. My parents stayed in Beijing for a few days before heading back, saying they'd return for the wedding. I told Ella to prepare the wedding well, to make me proud, and show everyone I had found the best wife. Then I used a business trip as an excuse, leaving all the wedding preparations to Ella. However, I hired 3 private detectives at a high cost to monitor Ella 24/7. With so many trending topics online, Alex's incident had died down, and I needed to deliver a fatal blow. The 3 detectives were very diligent, sending me photos or videos they took every day. In the 20 days I pretended to be on a business trip, Ella met Alex 4 times. These adulterous scumbags had truly forgotten their lesson. "Next time, I'll leave you with wounds that won't heal." Because we said the wedding expenses would be reimbursed, the Su family spared no effort in organizing the wedding. Ella booked a banquet hall that could hold 100 people and hired a top wedding planning company to decorate the entire hall with exquisite luxury. Using my business trip as an excuse, I neither contributed money nor effort, and even postponed the wedding photos until after the wedding. As compensation, I bought Ella a well-known bridal gown for her to keep as a memento. To prepare for this wedding, Ella maxed out her credit cards, and her parents took out over $200,000 in loans. In a video, Ella pouted and whined to me, "Honey, how do you like the decorations? Will they satisfy your parents?" "I've been so exhausted these past days. You'll have to make it up to me." If it were before, I would have been incredibly moved. But now I just said, "Not bad." On the wedding day, I had a slideshow on the big screen showing off the dowry my family supposedly prepared. 1 million in cash, luxury cars, jade jewelry, branded bags. But in reality, none of these items were present. I told the Su family, "For your sake, my parents will personally bring these items to the wedding, so all the relatives and friends can witness how much we value Ella. As for when my parents would arrive, well, whenever they ask, I just said soon." These ostentatious photos might be tacky, but they were effective. Ella's aunts and uncles were wide-eyed with amazement, all praising her for finding such a good husband. Wearing my custom suit, I faked a smile, dealing with their compliments. Sandra saw me and forced a smile. She wasn't very happy. I spotted Alex sitting at Ella's friend's table. He was dressed up, smiling and chatting with friends. Ella had some nerve. Wasn't she afraid I'd catch on to their affair? Or perhaps she found it more thrilling to have her lover watch as she married her husband. I'd give her something even more thrilling. Since we were having another wedding in my hometown, only a dozen or so of my relatives and friends were present. But actually, these people were actors I hired. Ella originally only wanted to spend my money, so she never met my relatives. Ella's dad came over and asked, "Where are your parents? Why aren't they here yet?" My dad said, "They're on their way, but got delayed by a temporary roadblock. They'll be here soon. Oh, they should have come earlier. Don't want to miss the auspicious time." "Don't worry, Uncle. There's still time," I reassured him. I looked around and saw that everyone who needed to be here was present. It was time to execute my plan. I took Ella to the stage, grabbed the microphone, and said, "Dear friends and family, thank you all for coming to celebrate our wedding. To show my gratitude, I've prepared a little game. Among all our guests, we'll draw one lucky person to receive a 200-gram gold bar with the word fortune engraved on it. I hope to share our good luck with everyone." The Su relatives were ecstatic. No one expected a chance to win a gold bar at the wedding. Ella's family beamed with pride. The more generous I appeared, the prouder they felt. The game was simple. Each seat had a number, and Ella would draw a number from the box. Whoever held that number would win. Ella cheerfully drew a number from the box. Number 48. Who's number 48? Please come up to claim your prize. After seeing Alex's seat number, the box was filled with slips all marked 48. Alex stood up, looking puzzled, and I urged him to come to the stage, seeing that the winner was him. A flicker of panic crossed Ella's face, but she quickly composed herself. "Oh, it's Mr. Lee. Come on up." Amid the cheers, Alex came up to the stage. At this point, the MC tried to take over, but I waved him off. I went through the formalities of asking Alex to introduce himself, then presented him with the gold bar in a transparent box. Alex's grin nearly reached his ears as he looked at the shiny gold bar. "Mr. Lee, I have a special request. Could you say a few words of blessing for us?" I handed the microphone to Alex and whispered to Ella, "I have a surprise for you coming up." Ella probably thought I was going to give her something even more valuable than the gold bar. She looked at me excitedly. I smiled and walked off the stage, signaling the staff to start playing the video I had given them earlier. At first, it was a typical love story montage. Moments from my relationship with Ella, edited with music, were being played. It was my final farewell to the sincere love I had given. With the sound of glass shattering, the screen switched to an obscene scene. The big screen displayed a video of Ella and Alex having an affair. In the video, they were naked, energetically indulging in each other. "You've got guts, doing this with your husband watching? Isn't it more exciting this way? I don't love him at all, but his family has money and spends it on me, so I keep him. You're the only one I love." Their breathless conversation played clearly, echoing throughout the hall. The hall erupted instantly. The adulterous couple stood dumbfounded on stage, still processing what was happening when Ella's dad charged up and kicked them both to the ground. "You idiot, shameless scum! You've disgraced us!" Ella's mom screamed, "Turn it off! Turn it off!" Ella's dad snapped back to reality and rushed toward me, only to be blocked by my fake relatives. I shouted from behind the crowd, "Your daughter's lover is trying to run off with the gold bar." He turned and saw Alex trying to flee with the gold bar box. With a roar, he charged at Alex. Fueled by rage, he tackled Alex to the ground. Alex tried to fight back, but Sue's relatives swarmed him, delivering a beating. Some did it out of anger. Others wanted to grab the gold bar amid the chaos. Ella cried as she tried to protect him. "Stop it, everyone, stop." Such deep affection. Too bad Alex wanted to shift the blame. "It's all Ella's fault. She seduced me. She said one man wasn't enough for her. It's your fault for not raising her properly. Why are you hitting me?" Ella froze for a moment before screaming and joining the fight against him. "Alex, you're shameless. How dare you lie? You filmed me secretly. I'll sue you." It was spectacular. Who needs action movies when you have this real-life drama? Amidst the chaos, someone accidentally kicked Alex in his groin, causing him to scream in agony. His scream was music to my ears. Satisfied with the show, I slipped away under the cover of my fake relatives. Ella somehow chased after me, banging on the car window and shouting, "Jorge, why are you doing this to me?" Looking at her tattered wedding dress and bruised face, I laughed heartily. "You bitch! This is your karma for trampling on love." The car sped away, leaving Ella collapsed on the ground, wailing. Her figure grew smaller and smaller, eventually disappearing from my world entirely. Later, I heard from the actors I hired that Alex ended up in the hospital with fractures and internal bleeding. He was unlikely to have children ever again. With such a serious incident, Ella's dad and several relatives were taken by the police for investigation. They were eventually charged with intentional injury and sent to prison. The hotel also demanded compensation for damages from Ella, an astronomical amount for the Sue family. Given the spread of this incident, Ella was socially dead. According to her school's announcement, she had been expelled. Serves her right. I rented out the wedding house through an agency, resigned from my job, and went on a tour around the country. During this time, Ella's mom shamelessly called me, crying and begging for mercy, asking me to help pay off their debts. They had spent on the wedding, paid for the hotel damages, compensated Alex, and after selling their house, they were still tens of thousands in debt. Go find Alex. Didn't Ella only love him? Besides, I left you the expensive wedding dress and gold bar as compensation, I replied. She was stunned for a moment, then started cursing and crying. Jorge, you're inhuman. You tricked us with fake stuff. I had it checked, and it's worthless. I laughed heartily. Yes, worthless fake goods for a gold-digging liar. Isn't that a perfect match?